live with Tao. To be ordinary is most difficult. Everybody wants to be extraordinary. So, to be extraordinary is the easy, because everybody is trying to be extraordinary. Everyone hankers to be extraordinary, so the desire to be extraordinary is very ordinary. Everyone. You cannot find a single person who is not trying to be extraordinary in some way or the other. So the desire, the lust to be extraordinary is a basic part of the ordinary mind. Zen masters say, so to be ordinary is most extraordinary thing in the world. To be just ordinary is rare, because nobody wants to be ordinary. Very rarely it happens that someone is simple, natural, spontaneous and ordinary, and is not hankering to be extraordinary in any way. There was a Japanese emperor. He went from one teacher to another, but no one could satisfy him, because one old man had said that the real master would be most ordinary. So he went searching, but he could not find an ordinary man. He came back to the old man, who was then on just the dying bed, and he said, "You put me into a great trouble. The way you defined the master, that he will be simple, natural, spontaneous. This is the state in Sufi, according to Sufis, is the state of Mazub. I happened to get an opportunity to meet such a person. He was in a way a baul, kind of people who use a single stringed instrument and they sing. This man was very old. He has no teeth in his mouth. So when I requested him to sing a song, he said, "I cannot sing. I want to eat a particular kind of a sweet which is quite juicy. So if you can get me that sweet, only then I can sing." So this is the state of ordinariness. The man has no teeth in his mouth, but he said, "I cannot sing because I want to eat this particular juicy sweet." As you grow, you want to be extraordinary in your gesture, in your mannerism, in your behavior. You cannot laugh spontaneously. You cannot say anything. So this is the difficulty. So Emperor came back to the old man who had told him that the master need to be ordinary. He said, "You had put me into a great trouble. The way you describe the master, that he will be simple, ordinary, spontaneous, natural, and flowing, a nave. This has become a problem for me. I have been searching all over the country and no one seems to satisfy this condition. You gave me some clue how to find the master. The dying man said, "You have been searching in wrong places. You have been searching in wrong places," he repeated again. "You have been going to the person who are in some way extraordinary, and then you try to find the ordinary. Move in the ordinary world, and really you are still trying to find the extraordinary. Everyone looks, he has certain criteria. The master will be like this, master will be like that. He will behave in this manner. This will be his gesture. This will be his way of talking. Now you define him as ordinary, but you are still searching for the extraordinary. The definition has changed. Now you define him as the most ordinary, but the rare, that is rare. The exceptional. You are still in this search. Don't do that. The moment you are ready and not searching in any way, the master will come to you. This is the famous Sufi saying that the master appears the moment disciple is ready. But we are looking always for the extraordinary. There is a Sufi story about Hazrat Imam Zafar Sadiq, a Naqshbandi Sheikh. A woman came to him and she said, "I had been to many masters and each time I changed the master, I gained something, I learned more. And I understand that you are a master. I have come to you." Imam Zafar told the woman, "Go back home and I will send my message in a few days." Few days after, a messenger from Imam reached the woman's door. He had a bottle and it has some sand separated by a cotton wadding, red, white and black. And it came with a note: "Remove the cotton wadding and shake the bottle. This is what you have been." So sometimes it happens the person says that you seem to be extraordinary. Are you the master? So the masters in their ordinariness are unique. I am known by that name, but I am not. I am known by that name, but I am not. The moment you have to search, are you a disciple? Disciple means one who is vulnerable, open, ready to learn, and is not hiding anything, but open, vulnerable, natural, and spontaneous, trusting. The moment that quality comes in a person, that person is disciple, and the moment disciple is ready, the master appears. So the next morning, while he was sitting, he tried to understand what the old man has said. And he felt that he was right. He felt that he was right. The desire left him to search for the extraordinary, and he was the master. But he was searching here and there, everywhere. There are many stories like that when somebody is seeking a master. You cannot seek a master because you do not have that quality. You can only see your spontaneity, that if you are, then it is easier for you, for the master to appear. And he had known the beggar his entire life. He was always coming. The beggar was coming daily to the palace. So the emperor asked the beggar, "How did it happen that I did not recognize you before?" The beggar said, "You were searching for the extraordinary in the ordinary. I was here, but you were searching somewhere else." That is what Tantra says. There is no difference between here and there. They are two sides of the same coin. There is no duality between here and there. That is why you missed me continuously. Tantra says this is that. Particularly in the process of transformation, there are techniques in which that is discussed, but this is most beautiful tantric state, this here and now, the most intimate state. Your wife, your husband, your friend, this your friend, the beggar may be the master, but you are not looking at this. This is why the people who are very close to the master or live within the environment always miss him. Very rarely a person within the inner cycle of the master can recognize him. It is only after he is no more one recognizes that you are not looking at this, you are looking at that. Your husband, your friend can be the master, but you are not looking. You are looking for number of followers that he has. It is not important. He is not looking for followers. He is looking for those who are real seekers, who are natural and spontaneous. Chacha ji, Raghuvar Dayal Naqshbandi Sheikh used to say, "I do not want the dog of the world to come to my place. It is simply wasting my time. My time is very precious. I am for those who are ready and ready for transformation." Most of the people are looking at that there, somewhere in the clouds. You cannot even conceive that near you can be that quality of the being. You cannot conceive it because you think you already know the person that is in the close vicinity or near you. So you search for it in far away. You already feel that you know this. So now the very thing is to be found in that. This is not true. You don't know this. You do not know the near, the close, the person who is close to your heart. You do not know him. So you are looking for somewhere else. The near is an unknown as far as the far away. Have a look around you. You are not acquainted with anyone. You do not have any knowledge of anyone or understanding. Do you know the tree you pass every day? Do you know your friend with whom you have lived your whole life? Or do you know yourself? Who is the nearest to you? Who is close to your heart? Whose very presence creates waves deep within you? Do you know your body, your breath that comes and goes continuously? It is closest to you. You don't know this. Do you know it? Nothing is known. Even this is not known. So why hanker for that? First you have to know yourself. According to one of the hadith saying of Sufis is manarfa nafsahu arfa rabbahu. Who has known himself, he has known God, or who has known Master. If you had known your breath, your movement, your innerness, it will be easy for you to recognize the one that is close to you. That is your heartbeat. This technique, or the technique of Tantra, says, if this is known, if you have known the person, known yourself, you will know that. The same saying as that of manarfa nafsahu arfa rabbahu. That is implied in this. This and that are not two different things, instead part of one synergistic harmony. There is no difference between your breath and my breath. Once you know your breath calms down. It is natural and spontaneous. Then the moment you are in the closeness of the person, or you feel the presence, something begins to happen deep within. You have to be, are you familiar, are you intimate to you, but you are looking to be intimate with someone else. But the human mind hankers for the far away, and this is an escape. It is an escape to think of the far away, because then you go on thinking forever, and you can go on postponing this very moment, the living, because life is here now, not there yonder. Life is here now. If you think about it, and if you contemplate about it, you will have to change yourself. I am reminded of an anecdote. Once it happened, a Zen master was appointed as a preacher in the temple. No one knew that he was a Zen master. This similar story comes like in the life of Ramakrishna. He was appointed a priest in the temple, Kali temple in Dakshineshwar on the bank of river Hooghly, a name for Ganga. He was so spontaneous. So normally when you are offering the meals to the goddess, he will taste it before. This was unusual. So it was complained that before offering the meals or prasad or something to the goddess, he will taste it first. So it was inquired, why you do so? He said, this is how I am. When my mother used to give me something, she will taste it first, taste it herself if it is good, and then she will give me. So if you want me not to taste it before giving, then you get somebody else as the priest. This is how I am. And sometimes the temple will open, he will dance, other times temple is not open. This is the nature of spontaneousness, spontaneity. So the congregation gathered and the first sermon was delivered. Everyone was thrilled. It was just beautiful. No one has heard such a thing before. The next day, an even greater crowd gathered in the temple, but the master repeated the same sermon. So they got bored. What type of man is he? Then on the third day, they came back again, not in such a great number, but the master repeated the same sermon again. So they left just in the middle. Only a few were left, and these few were there only to ask, have you got only one sermon? And are you going to deliver the same sermon every day? One spokesman blurted out and asked the priest, what type of preaching is this? Thrice we have heard you, and you go on repeating exactly the same thing again and again in exactly the same words. Don't you have any other lecture? Any other sermon? The priest said, I have quite a few, but you have not done anything about the first. I told you first. So it is like you are on a flight. You have to start in a particular manner. You have to start from your home to reach the airport. There is a way you can take a taxi, you can take a train, whatever mode is available, or you can ask someone to give you a drop. If you have not done this, how can you reach the airport? This is the first and the primary requirement. I have seen you have not reached the airport, started the first step. The first step is, I told you something to do, but you have not done. I had asked you to do this particular exercise because it is important. This particular kind of breathing is important for you. You are only interested in talks, not doing anything. It is when you can say that in order to reach the airport, I must start from home. I must get ready. And when ready, call a cab or take a train or ask a friend to give me a drop. You have not done this. So next day when you come, but you know only theoretically. You are interested in theory, not doing the first step. So when you do not do this, and before that there is a step that you have to book your ticket first. And when you book the ticket on an appointed day, you have to reach to the airport, fill out the necessary requirements. For that you have to start the journey from your home to the airport. This is the first thing. In order to understand, you are already filled with so much things deep within. Energy is not flowing, there are blockages. For that, you are told something to do and you do not have any experience. So when you are asked to do something, you have not done that step. So what I have to do the same thing again tomorrow, tell you. Because if you have done that, it is sure that something will happen, and the moment you appear in front of the master, in front of the mirror, your innerness is reflected. In front of the mirror, when you go, your outer appearance is reflected. But in front of a master, your innerness is reflected. So when he looks at your innerness, he sees that there had been a slight change in it. Then, if it is necessary, if there is not much opening, then he will continue the same thing like a doctor. He prescribes a particular medicine as a treatment. When you take the number of days prescribed, then there is a change in the inner state. Only then he changes the medicine to go to the next step. So Master moves in the same way. You have not done the first step. My first sermon was that everyone has to do this particular kind of exercise in order to allow your energy to get liquid and begin to flow. And when the energy begins to flow, then it will have to evaporate. If you have to use a particular vegetable and you have not defrosted it, it will not cook properly. You have to defrost it first and then use it. If the water is frozen and you want to make a cup of tea, first the water has to become fluid-like, and then you have to put, and if you put the bottle have the water which has become ice, so it will not come out of the bottle to go into the pot to start the process of tea making. First, it has to be defrosted. The energy that is frozen has to become fluid-like, and then and only then the next step begins. Isn't it so? If you have not taken the first step, anything that you do in your day-to-day life, it goes into steps. You cannot do the last step first. You want to make bread or cake, but there is a process. You need to have the ingredients. This is the first step. Then you have to start the process of mixing the dry ingredients, mix the liquid ingredients, and then blend the two together. This is the process. So I gave you the steps. My sermon was a step, and you consider yourself that you consider that the talk was boring, and you ask if I do not have any other step. But when you came, you wanted to learn how to make the cake. You have not done the first step. Everyone who comes to the class to learn cake making is given a theory that these are the dry ingredients, these are the liquid ingredients. So this is the first step. Then everyone will come with their dry ingredients and liquid ingredients, and the master, the person, the chef will show you, look, I am doing it, watch me, and continue doing the same thing. This is a process. So what happened? The crowd stopped coming. No one could come near the temple, because the moment anyone would come, the Zen priest would start the first step, the sermon. It is said that people stopped passing that way, that temple, that priest is there, and if you happen to be there, he will give you the same sermon again. You ask me how to go for my holidays. The first step is you have to book your ticket. You have to book your accommodation in that particular tourist destination. Make all the arrangements. Then you have to start the first step. Prepare your luggage, what you need to carry. Hire a cab or take a train or ask someone, and then you can reach. This is the first step. But if you have not done, every time you come, I will tell you the same thing. He must have been a very deep knower of the human mind. Human mind wants to think, but never wants to do anything. We are thinkers. And this is what it is happening in the days of social media. People are interested in only things that are on the surface. If anything, everybody hankers for transformation, but nobody strives to be transformed. I make an effort every day to have the audio recorded, video is made by someone, but when you ask the people, I listen to it whenever I get a chance, but every day I do not get a chance. So this is not priority. Your process of transformation is not your priority. It is just like an entertainment for you. A spiritual development is not entertainment. It is a process. He must have been a deep knower of the human mind. The human mind wants to think but never wants to do anything, because action is most dangerous. Thinking is good, it does not change you. Because you go on being the same, thinking does not change you. If you think about the far away, thinking is far away. If you think about far away, the distant, there is no need to change yourself. You can go on and on thinking. The absolute cannot change you. The absolute that is far away. You are looking at the last step, but the first step you have not taken. You are thinking that you are sitting in the plane, the air hostess comes and serves you, and you are flying in the air, but you have not done the first step. The neighbor, the friend, the wife, the husband, if you look at them, you will have to change yourself. And it is a trick not to look at them. You overlook them. So if you look at your spouse, he behaves in a particular manner, that can trigger the process of transformation in you. Then there comes an insatiable quest to come out of this state. You start looking for steps naturally and spontaneously. There is an inner preparation on your part, And then one day your inner preparation, the water has been put to boil. It reaches the boiling point. Then you add the tea leaf and sugar and milk and whatsoever it is, and tea will be ready. Mastery will appear the moment your water is boiling. Enough for now.